I agree wholeheartedly. I don't care for Dylan. I think that she's vapid. I don't think that she adds anything to the conversation. I honestly think that she is a danger and puts a lot of trans people in harm with her antics. And I don't think that she gives a fuck. I think that Dylan is also about her coin. I think that she's about collecting it and making sure that she can sustain all of the things that she wants to do, plans to do, and the things that she's already done. And I don't think that most of her activism is real. I think a lot of it is scripted. I feel like a lot of it is bullshit. I think that a lot of it is PR and marketing teams and management firms and all of the things. I think that she might be quite honestly one of the worst depictions of trans women going through trans womanism and girlhood that I've ever gotten a chance to see in my life. She feels like a caricature of womanhood, not of trans womanhood, but of womanhood as a whole. And I just don't like the idea that she's getting as much clout and as much space that she's getting. Because there are other young girls that I see on the internet. There are other young trans people that I see on the internet that are doing an amazing job. One of them is Elle Duran. And I believe that Elle is still going or leaning towards non-binary right now. But I think that she's on a journey to trans feminism completely. Or they're on a journey to trans feminism completely just based off of what I've been seeing on their page. And Elle is such a genuine soul. And Elle is such a positive influence as it pertains to like the young, youthful crowd of people. And I wish that if I had to see it from anybody, I would love to see her on a platform or them on a platform doing what they have to do and being that voice of those, you know, of the community in that way. When it comes down to Dylan Mulvaney, I feel like first and foremost, the idea of doing a 365-day countdown is absolutely ridiculous when you have hundreds of thousands of trans women every single fucking day waking up, stepping into their truth, and having to be afraid, right, of what that is going to mean for them. There are girls who wake up and step into their truth and lose everything the moment that they decide that they are going to no longer fight who they are. And those 365 days, those first 365 days of girlhood are not as fun as Dylan made it look. Those first 365 days of girlhood are not as glamorous as Dylan made it look. Those first 365 days of girlhood are often the most traumatizing 365 days that any trans woman, black, white, Asian, Latinx, or other can experience. And the idea that you have marginalized transgender women who are out here still having to rob Peter to pay Paul to get basic fucking HRT needs, and y'all are pouring into this bitch because she said, oh my God, I'm gonna count down my girlhood, is insulting. And it's not just insulting to trans women, it's insulting to the idea of womanhood altogether. The fact that you think that this countdown is something that's impactful and changing the way that people think about transgender people is a fucking joke. But outside of that, even if Dylan was a cisgender woman with this characteristic of being this American apple pie white bitch from the 50s, it is a setback to all of the women that are engaging in feminist conversation. It is a setback to all of the trans women who don't want to be seen as a caricature, who can put it up and put it down and count the days that they've been here. You've been that. It's not 365 days. You've been that. You are just acknowledging now that this is what you're going to do and step into. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, the fact of the matter is she should not, and I'm pretty sure she already has, be a fucking millionaire based off of her journey, as if her journey is something so much more special than the hundreds of thousands of other transgender women who have had to suffer, scrimp, put their bodies on the line, lose their families in order to be a woman. And not just for 365 days, my dear. So when it comes down to it, I just don't agree. These companies and these other people, I want to let y'all know that it's not about them liking her. It's not about them liking trans people. It's not about them wanting to push anything or talk about equality. It's about them wanting somebody who is not going to disagree with being a public pawn for everything that they have set up. It is about them understanding that Dylan is not going to give pushback. She's not going to give lip. She's not going to give fuss or muss. She is going to take everything that they say and she's going to repeat it, regurgitate it, and she's going to do so with a motherfucking Kool-Aid smile, and they love it. They don't invite people like myself into the space because you're not going to sell me a dream, piss down my back, and tell me that it's raining and I'm on a motherfucking water slide. You're not going to do that. I would gladly partner with certain people, but I'm also going to hold you to task. In a world where you have the amount of notoriety and power to work with some of the world's top brands, when you're the person that gets called by Bud Light in a space that you know you are not a part of their target audience, why not use that as a moment to really hold them to task and make sure that they are doing right by the community? You know why I love India more? You know why I love my sibling? Because when India does campaigns, and especially at the height of Pose when India was doing campaigns, my sibling went into every motherfucking room and said, if this shit ain't right for the trans community, I don't give a fuck about your check. Keep it. And this isn't what India told me. It's what I witnessed. I witnessed it happen. I witnessed India telling motherfucking major fashion houses, get it together. If you want to use my face, I need you to provide for my community. Period. Because India understood that they had the power. India understood that if they wanted to use their face, they had to make sure that they were doing right by community, because India understood what it meant to be a change maker in community and to use your influence to impact the people who need it the most. India walked into Louis Vuitton, into Vogue, into motherfucking Tommy Hilfiger, and so many other big major name people, and said, if you want to use my likeness, you got to support my people. And I'm not just talking about with a donation. I'm talking about on this set. I'm talking about with the people that I'm in communication with the people that I'm X, Y, and Z, all of the things. If you are going to if you're going to be somebody that's going to claim activism and all of the things, because y'all know y'all like to say everybody ain't an activist, but this bitch is claiming it. So Dylan, if you're going to claim activism, if you're going to claim that you're doing all of these things, just showing up in pretty dresses with a bad motherfucking facial femme is not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it. Because there are girls that are out here dying. And you have the visibility to create access and resource, and you're not doing that. This is the spokesperson for the community. This is the person that they have at the major tables in government. This is the bitch that they're flying out to the motherfucking White House to have conversations on our behalf. And I guarantee you that the conversations don't encompass the most marginalized of us all. I'm guaranteeing y'all when she sits down and she talks to the first lady and the POTUS that she's not mentioning all of the very vast motherfucking situations that trans people are in. And I'm not just talking about the white ones. And I'm not just talking about the issues that are important to the white girls or the black girls. I bet she's not talking about the indigenous people and how they're being disrespected day in and day out. I'm sure she's not talking about the Asian girls and what's going on in Brazil and what's going on in Africa, specifically Nigeria. She's not talking about these things. But she's sitting at these tables with these ugly ass updos trying to pretend like she's motherfucking the next coming of Breakfast at Tiffany's. And this bitch is dying. This bitches can't get HRT. And this is the reason. But my thing is, when people play this back, all they're going to hear and all they're going to see is, oh, Hope is just jealous that it wasn't her. I don't give a fuck that it wasn't me. But it needs to be somebody who has substance. It needs to be somebody who is going to stand up for the people. It needs to be somebody who understands what is going on beyond themselves and beyond their community in order to be able to stand up for everybody. When I get on there and I speak, bitch, when I have the time, I don't just speak for myself. Black trans women come first, and then the rest of my community comes after, every time. Every time. And I don't have nowhere near the amount of influence that she's garnered from being a girl for 365 days. But it is what it is. So if you wanted to know how I felt about Dylan, there you go.